my right. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Mare, President, Mare Island Heritage Trust, and also the Volunteer Preserve Manager for the Mare Island Shoreline Heritage Preserve. We're here this evening to maybe follow up on that tremendous presentation on Vallejo's exciting economic development. We believe that parks and open space, and I happen to have read a great article that the mayor was quoted in extensively about beauty being a factor in people coming to live in our wonderful city, and also the folks who are here finding a place of respite and a place of great joy. And we have been in parks, and we've been offering the Mare Island Shoreline Heritage Preserve on the south end of Mare Island open to the public for a couple of weeks. Will be our 11th anniversary, holding the first event, 150th anniversary of the Naval Ammunition Depot. Over 1,100 people came out on that day, the U.S. Navy tells us. We're at an interesting situation right now that we're just learning bits and pieces of, so we're really here to just thank you for your support all these years, and look forward to working together with the council and the staff to continue to keep our park open. We understand there are different types of concerns, and we wanted to just clarify a couple of things. One, that there have been concerns expressed to you about liability that the park represents to the community, all parks and all streets, and sidewalks all represent some type of risk, don't they? And we just want to assure the public that we have always carried all the general liability insurance that the city has requested of us, and we are actually in a situation where we don't have an agreement with the city of Vallejo to manage the land. We're doing it in good faith. Okay. So we have no way to do any improvements. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I also thought maybe just all of our supporters, in case they need to leave, could stand briefly.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. If I could ask the supporters to kindly be seated. I want to emphasize that it is 2 minutes. There are a series of lights on the podium. Green is go, yellow means start to wrap it up, red is stop. When the buzzer sounds, I would ask you to kindly stop talking, to yield to the person behind you. We have a lot of speakers that want to get their point across, and we have a very lengthy calendar tonight. So that being said, I would ask that you please follow those lights. I do want to say that before we go too much further, there has been conversation about, and I've received a lot of emails from residents about the Mare Island Preserve. And one of the things that seems to be a common theme in these emails is that we are intending on closing the preserve. That is far, far, far from the truth. We do have concerns. We have concerns about fire hazards, safety hazards, and those things are going to be addressed between the city manager and Myrna Hayes. So my hope is that we can iron out some of these issues and just move it forward. I would personally like to see the preserve open 7 days a week. I would love to see docents out there that take people on tours. I would love to see picnic tables and areas where people can sit and enjoy the vistas from Mare Island Preserve. But until we get these issues ironed out, there are things that we're going to have to do as a city to make sure that, one, it's a safe environment, two, it's a healthy environment, and three, that people are in a learning environment, because that's what that preserve is all about. That being said, Mr. Jimmy Ginn.
Took half my speech away.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
The preserve, the preserve is us. We have the only in Vallejo events, the Flyway, the Osprey Festival, et cetera, et cetera. We have access to hundreds of scenic acres at minimal cost to the city. I'm not an attorney, but doesn't rules say that a public use area, such as a preserve, has a lower bar for liability? By using it, doesn't the public inherently accept and waive most of its liabilities? Again, not a lawyer, but it's just not the same liability as businesses or otherwise. Seems to me the Preserve Board needs a hand up, not a slap in the face. Locals years ago stepped in creating a jewel for us. Code violations all over town. The best we can do is help those with violations, especially if they're doing the common good. Some are hoping that the preserve will grow larger and within a park system, but in the meantime be helpful, be empathetic, be cooperative. I believe the board is ready, willing, and able to talk of liabilities, codes, and its future. Please don't take away our uniqueness. Mend it, don't end it. The preserve is our wonderful something that we've done ourselves. Let it remain as a unique part of Vallejo. Future businesses will appreciate it. For the future, I haven't heard that word in a long time, for the future of our Bohemians. Thank you.
Thank you. Leanna Hansen.
Hi, Leanna Hansen, the Heritage District. And I'm here to ask you to support the Mare Island Shoreline Preserve. The preserve is so unique to Vallejo. It's a place where we bring out-of-town guests to show off what we've got. It's where we take our mothers for a free extraordinary Mother's Day tea in a beautiful garden. It's where we take our children on Halloween to experience the magic of Nightmare Island, or where we go anytime we want to learn of the history of Vallejo, because Myrna is always available to give tours or answer questions. It's a community center and also an individual retreat. My husband and I hike there, and it's the perfect antidote to a hectic week. The preserve is the only place in Vallejo where I can find peace of mind, and I count on it being there. When you walk in the preserve, taking in the beautiful views and smelling the sweet fennel, you feel like you are hundreds of miles away from your life, like you are on vacation. Myrna and her crew of volunteers go out of their way to make you feel at home. And I've got the yellow light, so I've got to cut it short, but please do whatever it takes to keep this sacred space open for the people of Vallejo. The preserve is extremely important to our quality of life.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Liz King, followed by Ken Sutsu.
I haven't done this before. I had my whole day and evening planned out for today, and then I heard that my beloved Mare Island Preserve was a focus here this evening, and I changed my plans. I've been going to the Mare Island Preserve for about 9 years. I've watched it grow into the unique, beloved jewel in our city, and it has become with the endless, passionate dedication of Myrna Hayes. I'm messing this up already. With a mining and construction background, I too am aware of safety and protection, and I love that my city has found a way to allow this unique park to exist and do the incredible things that it does throughout the year within our community. From the Flyaway Festival to the Halloween Nightmare Island, celebrating full moons and spring flowers, hot air balloons, sailboat races, and migrating bird progress, holiday festivities, fireworks, military remembrance, respect, and teaching us all about why these things are so special. Myrna Hayes has done an outstanding job of lovingly encouraging a small army of volunteers that help with various challenges throughout the many needs of the Mare Island Preserve during the year. I'm going to have to wrap this up too. I have volunteer experience and know how hard it is to develop and how much work it is required cultivating a passion. Please protect our preserve. I only got halfway through it.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, would the following speakers kindly line up behind Mr. Sutsu? That would be Patrick Gall, Valerie Aseno, Ann Carr, Sarah Kane, and Peter Brooks. Ken Sutsu.
Good evening. My name is Ken Sutsu. And also today I want to talk about Mare Island Shoreline Preserve. And I wanted to focus on 2 items. One is the liability. I think because a lot of people were talking about liability is a major concern for the preserve. And I think preserve is just like any other park. For example, Dan Foley Park or the River Park or so we have activity. And also, for example, if you look at Dam Foley, or it also have water and lake. So I think if we want to look at liability, we need to look at all of them as a whole, as the liability for the city, instead of only putting too much attention on the preserve. The second item I want to mention is the return on investment. I think especially for a city which with limited resource, we want to look at the return on investment. And I can compare the reserve with two other entity in the city. One is River Park, and the other one is Blue Rock Spring Golf Course. And all of them belong to the city. And the city, we have different level of engagement of the city. The golf course basically is a full engagement from the city, and the River Park is minimum engagement with the city. And we can see actually Myrna delivers so much with basically no money from the city. And I think so if we wanted to get more money from our investment, then I think we need to support this. And especially Bob said he wanted to open it 7 days. So I think we need to we need to pay Myrna and give money to the reserve. Okay?
Thank you. Patrick Gall, followed by Valerie Aseno.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Patrick Gall. I live at 646 Alabama Street. I've lived in Vallejo for about 18 years. Despite the glossy presentation that we've seen tonight that talks about all the wonderful things about Vallejo, and I believe there are quite a few, but realistically there's a lot of bad things about Vallejo. I don't want to talk about those right now, but there's lots of reasons why people would not want to come to Vallejo. And I think we all understand and realize this. What we need are reasons for people to come to Vallejo and stay here and to enjoy their life here. And the Mare Island Preserve is really one of those. It's made a big difference in my life, and it makes me feel like I'm in a very, very special place, unique to the whole Bay Area. And it overrides some of those feelings that I have when I walk through my neighborhood about bad reasons to be in Vallejo, because I know that that preserve is there and it's a part of our life here. And I would really hate to see anything happen to jeopardize that, and I would endorse and gladly participate with Myrna and others to do what we can to preserve it and keep it alive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Valerie Aseno, followed by Ann Carr.
Thank you, City Council, and thank you, officials of Vallejo. I wanted to say about the presentation, which was really great, but the first time I ever went out to Mare Island, which I've been here 10 years, so has the Heritage Preserve, it was through Facebook. Myrna has been promoting Mare Island Heritage Preserve. When you would go out there and people would say, oh, it's so strange, half the island's deserted, it's really creepy, why would you go out there? From that, the coal shed artists, those two brought people there 10 years ago. We have been building ever since. We're an army of volunteers. I have met people. I go out there and welcome them. They're from San Francisco. They're from Santa Rosa. They're from San Jose. They're from all over. People come here because of this. We have the Osprey. We have Obtainium Works. We have the coal shed artists. Now, so we have done so much with so little, but love. And it's a sacred place, and it's a healing place. Those people that I mentioned, those two things, have really brought about businesses know they can come to Mare Island because they saw what we have done through love with volunteers, with people putting blood, sweat, and tears out there. So please think of this. Respect what's out there. Myrna has done things with music, with history. I have seen Bob McConnell come out to the Mare Island, the cemetery. He was there. The Russian sailors were there honoring their dead. They had special music written there. So I have seen him come out. I wish all of you people would come out, see what this brings. The music, the international acclaim from artists that want to be here. We have something special. It's place. It's Vallejo.
Okay, thank you. Ann Carr, followed by Sarah Kane.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and other Vallejoans. My name's Ann Carr, native Vallejoan. I am also here to ask the Council and the City to support the Mare Island Preserve. It's a unique institution in Vallejo. Compared to other parks in the city, I think it's iconic, and it's actually maybe more distinctive than, say, Blue Rock Springs, City Park, Children's Wonderland. I think that it actually is a destination park, meaning it can attract people to Vallejo who might not otherwise come here and see it. When you go up to the top of the preserve, which is the highest point on Mare Island, you get something silly like a 360-degree view of the North Bay. It's incredible. So I think that I would love to see the city invest in the Mare Island Preserve, including if that means giving Myrna a stipend who's been working tirelessly for years. I'd love to see private-public partnership on it. I really do think that we need to look at it as one of the jewels of Vallejo, and don't underestimate the effort of the volunteer community here and the nonprofit community here that keeps a lot of things going. So I see that my time is winding down. The other thing I'd like to say is I would like the council and the city to look at synergy across different efforts and how something like the Mare Island Preserve can complement things like the Brewing Company on Mare Island, increased ferry ridership, where there are multiple reasons to come to Vallejo, not just one. So you need a whole synergy of things. And finally, I would say if you were looking at something else to do in that spot, consider the opportunity cost of how much we would lose by not having that. I think it would just really, it would just be a tragic error to let that slip out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sarah Kane, followed by Peter Brooks.
Hi there, my name is Sarah Kane, and I live at 1109 Georgia Street. I'm a volunteer at the Mare Island Shoreline Heritage Preserve, where I have been doing so for over 4.5 years, since we first moved to Vallejo. I primarily work on special events at the preserve, and we have a lot of those, including Mother's Day Tea, the 4th of July fireworks viewing. We've done the Women's March there for the last 2 years. The first year we had over 200 women there, and men, and other people. Mare Fair and Fennel Fest, Osprey Days, and of course Nightmare Island. I'm the event director for Nightmare Island. I started volunteering at the preserve for Nightmare Island, and it was the first community event I ever worked on when I first moved to Vallejo, and I was hooked. I'm not a birder. I don't have a connection to the military history of the island per se. I am, though, a history buff and an architecture buff, and I love natural places that are off the beaten track. Soon I was volunteering for other events, including the San Francisco Bay Flyway Festival. I'm now the coordinator for that, which of course we have thousands of people that come to that every year. And the following year, my husband and I took over organizing Nightmare Island, and 5 seasons later, we now have thousands of people that come to Nightmare Island over the course of 13 nights. So spread over 13 nights from at least an hour away, in all directions. So these are people coming to Vallejo maybe for the first time, and there are definitely multiplier dollars at work there. We also have tons of volunteers. Some of them are here tonight that work on Mare Island, and we'll have over 30 volunteers in one night sometimes. And those people now also start to volunteer for other events that we host on the island, as well as other events in town. We're now part of the Mad Hatter Parade. We're part of the Obtainium Works Obtainium Cup. So we spread out our civic work as well. But it's been a great magnet for that. I have lots more to say, but thank you very much. And I have...
Thank you.
Lots to talk.
Okay, before I call our next speaker, with the following kindly line up behind Mr. Brooks, that would be Veronica. And madam, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name because I will do a terrible job with it. It's... Okay, thank you so very much. Dr. Kay Flavelle, Boudica Toddy, and Belinda Sederman. Peter Brooks.
Hello. Hello, my name is Peter Brooks. I'm the president of a local organization in town called Fresh Air Vallejo.
Hey, come on, folks. Let's let them speak, please.
The Mare Island Preserve is a special place for me. I go there often. I go there to look out at that beautiful Sperry Mill. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me focused on what I've been working on since 2015. I have a message for the council, and I'd like to say off you go on a well-deserved break. I'm sure you've earned a summer vacation, and I hope you'll fill the next few weeks with barbecue and time on our precious waterfront and time with your family. Our group, Fresh Air Vallejo, will continue to stay busy. We'll be knocking on doors in South Vallejo. We'll be meeting with the Air Quality Board, with the BCDC. We'll be meeting with the State Lands Commission, with the Sierra Club, with No Coal in Oakland, with Earth Justice, and various cement industry experts who've offered their expertise and encouragement. We will stay busy this month and next month getting the message out that we love Vallejo. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Veronica? Madam, for the record, would you say your last name, please?
Yes, my name is Veronica Szymanowska. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to meet you all. I came here to speak for the preserve, but there's so many people who did it already. So I just want to take this opportunity to say that I moved to Vallejo last year. I'm one of these bohemians and techies. I have a startup company, and I'm an artist as well. So I really, Vallejo attracted me by its unique features that are all over the place, of which Preserve one of, together with many others. So I think I'd be happy to volunteer, be a part of development of uniqueness of Vallejo, not turning into some kind of cookie-cutter town. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kay Flavelle.
Good evening, Council and citizens. I spoke at the last meeting about Riverwalk. I love the preserve. It's been something that is the heart of Vallejo to me. I've been here for 16 years. I go walking there the whole time. There's so many marvelous things there. The spirit ship at the top, which is taking you back to the beginning of shipbuilding on Mare Island from 1859 with the first wooden ship and right through the nuclear era. I love the cemetery. I love Old Lighthouse Trail. As many of you know, I have been talking about getting a lighthouse built there. Right now, I think it's really important to acknowledge that the volunteers have been working wonderfully to keep this going. I would urge the council to proceed with the management plan, and I understand that funds were made available for improving the safety of Building 167. I would also urge that those funds be applied in that way. So please keep our wonderful preserve. We have historic development on both sides of the Napa River. This is our heritage, and we need to carry it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Bodica Todi, ending with Belinda Siedemann.
Good evening. My name is Bodica Todi. I own a home at Main and Monterey here in Vallejo. I'm a brand strategist in San Francisco. My key client is Ben & Jerry's, whom you all know and love. And I'm recently working on the Transbay Terminal. I'm here tonight because Myrna called me. So I had to come because this is a small town and we all listen to each other and love each other and do a lot of work together and just share good news. Mayor Bob, thank you for your article in Earth Island Journal. I read it. It was 15 minutes. It was awesome. And it's called A California City That's Taking Beauty Seriously. And this is really wonderful to see that I voted for you and you are representing my vision. So thank you. The general plan update on Section 4 also calls for beautiful city, preserve and enhance the natural, historic, and scenic resources that make Vallejo special. I always go back to the agreement, and this is something we all agreed on the general plan update. I love our open spaces. I go riding at Jane's Great Horses at McIntyre Ranch. I dance at Blue Spring Park, and I herd children at the Pirate Festival to see the mermaids. I love our historic places and our history and open spaces on both sides of the Mare Island Straits. And I would love to see, as the BCDC puts it, us, Vallejo, turn our front doors to the riverfront and not put our heavy industry and dirty industry on the waterfront as was done in previous centuries. 21st century, time to move forward. So my specific request, and you can see I'm turning my notes sideways, is that this council and the city prioritize in your 2019 budget planning for more resources for Myrna and her volunteer team to keep that up. And thanks for everything you're doing. The economic report is great. Yes, it's the last place to afford to buy a house, and it's the last place for developers to look. They've already tackled the rest of San Francisco and all of Alameda. They got to come to us. Thanks.
Thank you. Belinda Seidemann.
Good evening. When my husband and I were looking for a place to retire about 6 years ago, some friends suggested we come to Vallejo. And the first place they took us was up to the preserve. And Myrna welcomed us, taught us about the heritage and history of Mare Island, and we were delighted to be able to move here and live in an environment close to that preserve. And it's meant a lot to my husband and myself. And anyway, everybody said it all. It's a beautiful, unique park, and I hope it maintains its wild nature. I hope it doesn't get all, cemented and prettied up and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the last comment card. We're going to move on with the agenda.
Mr. Mayor?
And yes.